Asuras are mythological lord beings in Indian and Persian texts who compete for power with the more benevolent devas. Asuras are described in Indian texts as powerful superhuman demigods or demons with good or bad qualities. The good Asuras are called Adityas and are led by Varuna, while the malevolent ones are called Danavas and are led by Vritra. In the earliest layer of Vedic texts, Agni, Indra and other gods are also called Asuras, in the sense of them being lords of the respective domains, knowledge and abilities. In later Vedic and post-Vedic texts, the benevolent gods are called devas, while malevolent Asuras compete against these devas and are considered enemy of the gods, or demons. Asuras are part of Indian mythology along with devas, Jaksha and Rakshasas, and Asuras feature in one of many cosmological theories in Hinduism. Etymology and history. Munir Williams traces the etymological roots of Asura to Asu, which means life of the spiritual world or departed spirits. In the oldest verses of the Samhita layer of Vedic texts, the Asuras are any spiritual, divine beings including those with good or bad intentions, and constructive or destructive inclinations or nature. In later verses of the Samhita layer of Vedic texts, Munir Williams states the Asuras are evil spirits, demon and opponent of the gods. Asuras connote the chaos-creating evil in Hindu and Persian mythology about the battle between good and evil. Bhargava states the word Asura, including its variants, Asurya and Asura, occurs 88 times in the Rig Veda, 71 times in the singular number, 4 times in the dual, 10 times in the plural and 3 times as the first member of a compound. In this, the feminine form, Asurya, is included twice. The word Asurya has been used 19 times as an abstract noun, while the abstract form Asuratva occurs 24 times, 22 times in each of the 22 times of one hymn and twice in the other 2 hymns. Asura is used as an adjective meaning powerful or mighty. In the Rig Veda, 2 generous kings, as well as some priests, have been described as Asuras. One hymn requests a son who is an Asura. In 9 hymns, Indra is described as Asura. 5 times, he is said to possess Asurya, and once he is said to possess Asuratva. Agni has total of 12 Asura descriptions, Varuna has 10, Mitra has 8, and Rudra has 6. Bhargava gives account of the word usage for every Vedic deity. The Book 1 of Rig Veda describes Savata as an Asura who is a kind leader. In later texts, such as the Puranas and the Itihasas with the embedded Bhagavad Gita, the Devas represent the good, and the Asuras the bad. According to the Bhagavad Gita, all beings in the universe have both the divine qualities and the demonic qualities within each. The 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita states that pure godlike saints are rare and pure demon-like evil are rare among human beings, and the bulk of humanity is multi-charactered with a few or many faults. According to Jeanine Fowler, the Gita states that desires, aversions, greed, needs, emotions in various forms are facets of ordinary lives, and it is only when they turn to lust, hate, cravings, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, hypocrisy, cruelty and such negativity and destruction inclined that natural human inclinations metamorphose into something demonic. Askopapola traces the etymological root of Asura to *Asara of Uralic languages, where it means lord, prince. Discussion. Scholars have disagreed on the nature and evolution of the Asura concept in ancient Indian literature. The most widely studied scholarly views on Asura concept are those of F. B. J. Kuiper, W. Norman Brown, Haug von Bradke, Otto Benveniste, Konau, Rajwade, Dandika, Dharmestita, Bandaka and Raja, by Nurji Sastry, Padmanabhaya, Skoeld, S.C. Roy, Kumaraswamy, Shamasastry, Prilasky, Schroeder, Burrows, Hillibrand, Tarapawala, Lommel, Fosbol, Siegestedt, Themi, Gershovich, Boyce MacDonnell, Herman Oldenburg, Geldner, Venkatesh, Varun, and Jan Gonda. Kuiper calls Asuras a special group of gods in one of major Vedic theories of creation of the universe. The role changes only during and after the earth, sky and living beings have been created. The sky world becomes that of devas, the underworld becomes that of asuras. Deity Indra is the protagonist of the good and the devas, while dragon Vrtra, who is also one of asuras, is the protagonist of the evil. During this battle between good and evil, creation and destruction, some powerful asuras side with the good and are called devas. Other powerful asuras side with the evil and thereafter called asuras. This is the first major dualism to emerge in the nature of everything in the universe. Hale, in his review, states that Kuiper theory on Asura is plausible but weak because the Vedas never call Vrtra an Asura as the texts describe many other powerful beings. Secondly, Rigveda never classifies Asura as group of gods, states Hale, and this is a presumption of Kuiper. Many scholars describe Asuras to be lords, with different specialized knowledge, magical powers and special abilities, which only later choose to deploy these for good, constructive reasons or for evil, destructive reasons. The former become known as Asura in the sense of devas, the later as Asura in the sense of demons. Kuiper, Brown, Otto and others are in this school. However, none of them provide an explanation on how, when and why Asura came ultimately to mean demon. Ananda Kumaraswamy suggested that devas and asuras can be best understood as angels, theoi, gods and titans of Greek mythology. Both are powerful but have different orientations and inclinations. The devas representing the powers of light and the asuras representing the powers of darkness in Hindu mythology. According to Kumaraswamy, the titan is potentially an angel, the angel still by nature a titan in Hinduism. Indo-Iranian context. In the 19th century, Haug pioneered the idea that the term Asura is linguistically related to the Ahuras of Indo-Iranian people and pre-Zoroastrianism era. In both religions, Ahura of pre-Zoroastrianism, Varuna and Deva are found, but the roles are on opposite sides. That is, Ahura evolves to represent the good in pre-Zoroastrianism, while Asura evolves to represent the bad in Vedic religion, while Deva evolves to represent the bad in pre-Zoroastrianism, while Deva evolves to represent the good in Vedic religion. This contrasting roles have led some scholars to deduce that there may have been wars in Proto-Indo-European communities, and the gods and demons evolved to reflect the differences. This idea was thoroughly researched and reviewed by Peter von Bradke in 1885. The relationship between Ahuras, Asuras and devas in Indo-Iranian times was discussed at length by F. B. J. Kuiper. This theory and other Avesta, Assyrian-driven hypotheses developed over the 20th century, are all now questioned, particularly for lack of archaeological evidence. Askoparpola has reopened this debate by presenting archaeological and linguistic evidence, but notes that the links may go earlier to Uralic languages' roots. Norse gods context. Some scholars such as Askoparpola suggest that the word Asura may be related to Proto-Uralic and Proto-Norse history. The Asir-Asura correspondence is the relation between Asura of Vedic Sanskrit to Asir and Old Norse, that is, Old German and Scandinavian word
and *Asera or *Asera of Proto-Uralic languages, all of which mean Lord, powerful spirit, God. Parpola states that the correspondence extends beyond Asura, and extends to a host of parallels such as Intma, Indra, Sampas, Stamba, and many other elements of respective mythologies. Characteristics of Asuras: all-powerful beings, good or evil, are called Asuras in the oldest layer of Vedic texts. A much-studied hymn of the Rig Veda states Devasura and contrasts it with Asura, a deva. Each Asura and Deva emerges from the same father, share the same residence, eat together the same food and drinks, and have innate potential, knowledge and special powers in Hindu mythology. The only thing that distinguishes Asura who become Deva from Asura who remain Asura is intent, action and choices they make in the mythic lives. Asuras who remain Asura share the character of powerful beings obsessed with the craving for ill-gotten soma and wealth, egad, anger, unprincipled nature, force and violence. Further, when they lose, miss or don't get what they want because they were distracted by the cravings, the Asuras who remain Asuras question, challenge and attack the Asuras who become Devas, dilute and get a share from what Devas have and they don't. In Hindu mythology, the hostility between the two is the source of extensive legends, tales and literature in Hinduism. However, many texts discuss the hostility in neutral terms and without explicit moral connotations or condemnation. Some of these tales are the basis for myths behind major Hindu epics and annual festivals, such as the story of Asura Ravana and Devarama in the Ramayana and the legend of Asura Hiranyakashipu and Deva Vishnu as Narasimha, the latter celebrated with the Hindu spring festival of Holika and Holi. Many Asuras have been known to have had some very great spiritual values while being fighters. Vrtra had practiced penance for 60,000 years. Further, it is said that Vritra's offspring were Rakshasas and yet were Brahmavid and Dharmika. Madhu, the father of the Asura race, practiced great penances and possessed very high spiritual values. Dandu, his son, was a great tapasvi sage. These two brothers were named Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Both of them performed so many religious practices and austerities that in course of time they gained unlimited powers. Asuras also had priests. Bhargava Brahmins were Purohitas to Hiranyakasipu, and that Vasitha was his Hotra. The Dasu of the Rig Veda too had Brahmin priests of their own, whom Indra also fought, near Brahmabhiradamo Dasyam Indra. Commemoration of Asuras. Danavas was rescued by Shiva's chief attendant Nandikavara, and similarly Shiva has rescued some of his Daitya devotees. Shiva rescued Andaka to be spared from being slain by Vishnu. Shiva had taken Bana's side when he had captured Aniruddha, and Krishna, Balarama and Pradyumna were on Aniruddha's side to defeat Bana. Even after Gaja the Shiva was defeated, his head was preserved in Kailasha, honoring it. Daksharam is the place where Taraka was slain by Skanda, and so he is honored there. In one instance, Kali Devi had worshipped Shiva at Ambar city in the Mahakalam for atoning the sin of slaying Amba and Ambasura, resolving conflicts with Adityas. Power is a clear motive in the story of Madhu and Kaitaba, wherein they would declare, "Give battle now," or say, "I am your dasa." In some instances, the Adityas are told to abide by the customs of war. For example, Vishnu used the conciliatory method and reminded Madhu and Kaitaba that it is not the dharma of heroes to fight with those who are tired, frightened, weaponless, fallen, or too young, recalling a similar set of rules in the Manusmriti. Normally, non-violence as a method is tried to prevent any wars with the Asuras.
When they prove ineffective, war is fought. In one instance, the Devas had said to Brahma, "You should pacify the Vinas by the conciliatory method. This method is to be applied first, and secondly the offering of gifts, and these one should afterwards create dissension, and this too proving unsuccessful, punitive force should be resorted to." One common tactic of the Adityas was to abduct the wife of an enemy. This is true in the cases of Hiranyaksha, who had kidnapped Bhudevi, Hiranyaksha's son, and Arka, who tried to kidnap Parvati, Jalandhara, who had tried with Parvati, and Sangra, who tried with Sachi. Aditi was always furious of the influential powers of the Devas, and she had taken the vow to annihilate them. The Madanadvadas Vrata, symbolism. Edelman and other scholars state that the dualistic concept of Asura and Deva in Hinduism is a form of symbolism found throughout its ancient and medieval literature. In the Upanishads, for example, Devas and Asuras go to Prajapati to understand what is self and how to realize it. The first answer that Prajapati gives is simplistic, which the Asuras accept and leave with. But the Devas, led by Indra, do not accept and question, because Indra finds that he hasn't grasped its full significance and the given answer has inconsistencies. Edelman states that this symbolism embedded in the Upanishads is a reminder that one must struggle with presented ideas. Learning is a process, and Deva nature emerges with effort. Similar dichotomies are present in the Puranas literature of Hinduism, where god Indra and the anti-god Virakana question a sage for insights into the knowledge of the self. Virakana leaves with the first given answer, believing now he can use the knowledge as a weapon. In contrast, Indra keeps pressing the sage, churning the ideas, and learning about means to inner happiness and power. Edelman suggests that the Deva-Asura dichotomies in Hindu mythology may be seen as narrative depictions of tendencies within ourselves. The god and anti-god, states Edelman, are also symbolically the contradictory forces that motivate each individual and people, and thus Deva-Asura dichotomy is a spiritual concept rather than mere genealogical category, a species of being. In the Bhagavata Purana, saints and gods are born in families of Asuras, such as Mahabali and Prahlada, conveying the symbolism that motivations, beliefs and actions rather than one's birth and family circumstances define whether one is Deva-like or Asura-like. Asuri. Asuri is the feminine of an adjective from Asura, and in later texts means belonging to, having to do with demons and spirits. Asuri parallels Asura in being powerful beings, and in early Vedic texts includes all goddesses. The term Asuri also means a Rakshasi in Indian texts. The powers of an Asura are projected into plants, offering a remedy against leprosy. In Book 7, Asura is a powerful female with a special knowledge of herbs, who uses that knowledge to seduce Deva Indra in Atharva Veda. A hymn invokes this special power in Asura, and this hymn is stipulated for a woman as a charm to win over the lover she wants. Similarly, in the Atharva Veda, all sorts of medical remedies and charms are projected as Asura manifested in plants and animals. Asuri Kalpa is an abhishara which contains various rites derived from special knowledge and magic of Asuri. Ahura Mazda and Asura Madhasya. Ahura Mazda is the Avestan equivalent to Vedic Sanskrit's Asura Madhasya. List of identical scriptural quotes. Hindu mythology. Vishnu Purana. According to the Vishnu Purana, during the Samudra Manthan or churning of the ocean, the Adityas came to be known as Asuras because they rejected Varuna, the goddess of Sura wine, while the Devas accepted her and came to be known as Suras. Shiva Purana. Alan Danielu states that Asuras were initially good, virtuous and powerful in Indian mythology. However, the nature gradually changed and they came to represent evil, vice and abuse of power. In Shiva Purana, they evolved into anti-gods and had to be destroyed because they threatened the gods. The Asuras were depicted to have become proud, vain, to have stopped performing sacrifices, to violate sacred laws, not visit holy places, not cleanse themselves from sin, to be envious of devas, torturers of living beings, creating confusion in everything and challenging the devas. Alan Danielu states that the concept of Asuras evolved with changing socio-political dynamics in ancient India. Asuras gradually assimilated the demons, spirits, and ghosts worshipped by the enemies of Vedic people, and this created the myths of the malevolent Asuras and the Rakshasa. The allusions to the disastrous wars between the Asuras and the Suras, found in the Puranas and the epics, may be the conflict faced by people and migrants into ancient India. Buddhism. Asuras also appear as a type of supernatural being in traditional Buddhist cosmology. In popular culture, in Asura, undead war, the Asuras are responsible for raising the dead and command an army of demon spawn. In the manga anime series Kinnikuman, the character Asura Man is the prince of the demon realm and a prominent villain, anti-hero whose appearance is derived from the Buddhist Asura. Using his 6 arms to perform wrestling holds impossible for other Jovan. Asura is a powerful attack from Varuna Zoro in the manga and anime One Piece, where he creates an illusion of himself with 9 swords and 3 heads. Despite being an illusion, the blades still feel very real. Asura is the past life of the main character, Kamilda, in the portable DS game Tales of Innocence. In the popular MMORPG, Ragnarok Online, Asura Strike is a powerful attack able to be performed by the monk class of character. In the manga anime series Toriko, the intimidation used by the character Mansum takes the form of an Asura. One of the animals in the gourmet world is also called the Asura tiger due to having 3 heads reminiscent of an Asura's common depiction. The Shura are a nationality that live in the land of Shura, an island located near China in the manga anime series Fist of the North Star and its sequel, Fist of the Blue Sky. Kishin Asura is the main antagonist in the manga and anime Soul Eater. Asura is the main character in the Japanese arcade video game Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage. Asura is the main character in the Capcom video game Asura's Wrath. In the game, he's a former god whose daughter was kidnapped and was betrayed by his fellow gods and now seeks revenge on those who betrayed him. The Asura is a subclass of the Slayer in Dungeon Fighter Online. He is a blind swordsman who trades his sight for more power, turning him into a magic warrior. Several of his attacks have Hindu references such as Agni Pentacle. The Asura awakens as a Mahakala and then an Indra. In the popular Elder Scrolls video game series, one of the Daedra is named Asura. The Daedra and the Hydra within the game's lore draw parallels to the concept of Suras and Asuras, having the Hydra, similar to Suras, are the main gods whom are revered, in contrast to the Daedra, who are often considered chaotic or evil, though they are not always so. Asura is a playable race in the MMORPG Guild Wars 2. Asura is a fictional deity in Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age Stories of Conan the Cimmerian. In a Japanese manga series Naruto, Asura was the youngest son of Hagoromo Otsutsuki and heir to his teachings, who became a mortal enemy of his older brother Indra. He is also the ancestor of the Senju clan and the Uzumaki clan. Asura is one of the most powerful demons in the Megami Tensei series and the final persona of the Sun. It is also used as a classification attributed to the alternate demon forms of the plot-relevant characters, including the player's character, in the digital Devil Saga games, which are derivatives of the Megami Tensei franchise. Asura is the queen of the Fae Archant and optional boss and summon in Final Fantasy IV. Asura is the third job path of Arahan in MMORPG Sword. The Asurans in Stargate Atlantis are a race of self-replicating machines. In Rakudai Kishin no Cavalry, the main character Ikikurogan uses an attack, Itoshira, which translates to single strike Asura.